Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into our monthly call. Well, this is not really a monthly call. This is really a podcast or whatever you want to call it. And well, we're going to just sit here and discuss what the Expert Corner is all about and why we created it to help others that really struggle in specific areas. But my name is Fernando Leon. I am the host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Gregory Moraviec. And today we have an agenda, and I'll quickly go over that, but I'll just give a quick overview on who we are. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing for Single Point of Contact. We're an MSSP, and Gregory is the CEO of Single Point of Contact. And we came together to build another company to help IT firms in areas they struggle because we saw there's just a huge gap out there. And we weren't happy with what was in place. We thought we could make it better. So that's hence the MSP Corner. And what came out of the MSP Corner is the Expert Corner, which is a monthly call that we dedicate to CEOs of IT service firms that are want answers to their struggles, because we all have them and some have more than others, but we want to offer free advice. There's no obligations to joining our Expert Corner call. But let me just dive quickly into the agenda. I'm just going to go over, like today is, what works for us when it comes to marketing, what generates leads for us. And what I have today is, SEO, newsletter, social media, PPC, strategic partnerships, and what we are considering ads on specific podcasts that are targeting our audience. But what leads to our success with SEO is content creation and testimonials on our website.
So let's kick this off. And Greg, you always have great input on what um, our marketing strategy is. But just pitch in as we discuss each topic. But SEO, let me just go into SEO real quick and why it's invaluable and why it's such a um, um, smart investment. But I'm going to add that SEO is no joke. SEO, it takes so much to become the online authority because there's so many boxes that you need to check off. And I'm going to start off with your identity, right? It's like, who are you? Okay, yeah, you're an IT service firm, but that is such a vague description on what you have to offer. And one of the key components to having a successful SEO campaign is really identifying who you are. And what that means is, what do you do? Like what who are you servicing? And based on who you're servicing, what keywords would that audience enter in a Google search bar? Because if you're an IT service firm providing, you're the expert in, let's say, the medical industry, which has to be HIPAA compliant, you would be obviously, your website would be littered with keywords that pertain to that industry, right? HIPAA compliance, security, EDR, or IT support for medical firms, et cetera, et cetera. Managed IT services for a small medical office, things like that. There's That is probably one of the key areas why a lot of people fail with SEO, because keywords is what defines your authority. It defines what you have to offer your audience. Now, when I say there's a lot of boxes to check off, I mean, we're talking a lot for your website when it comes to on page SEO, then you have off page SEO, and then you have your keywords, and then you have to have a content creation strategy. And let me tell you, when you are creating just the roadmap for content creation, it is massive. It's no joke. It can be exhausting, but it does pay off. I mean, we're a testimony to SEO. Imagine getting 10 to 20 leads every month because people are looking for you. And I'm gonna, Greg, do you want to add anything to SEO? Because you do have you've had input in the past, but is there anything that you would want to add that you might want to fill a little gap here or there where I might have left out?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can go as far as you want down the SEO trail yourself, but there's a limit to what you can do personally with it. I mean, there's Yoast and SEO One, and there's WordPress, and there's all these different technologies you can embrace, but it's difficult stuff. So it can get complicated as you get deeper into it.
One of the things that we tell our clients is, I mean, we've been doing this for over 2 decades now, and we found a lot. We found this was like a common occurrence with small businesses. The CEO is the person who built the network, maintains the network, is tech support. And what we always tell them is, you're not an expert. Leave IT to the experts. And I'm going to say the same thing with SEO. Leave SEO to the experts. Let them build your website. Let them worry about SEO best practices, because there's too much. I mean, just thinking about content creation is going to be another massive task for you to take. And this is where SEO experts can step in and help with that content creation. But I know some of you might have a tight budget, and you might have um, um, you're very ambitious. So you're like, hey, I can do that too. I can do content creation. Yeah, I'm going to say you could probably do 60 to 75% of content creation. I'm gonna give you guys that much because yeah, I do it. I create my own content for a lot of our um I create a lot of the content for my organization. So if I can do it, I know you guys can do it. But here's the thing. You you have chat gpt. Chat gpt can help you do a lot of this, but you have to be very careful on the artificial intelligence side of how ai talks. You got to add a human component to it, and because Google does not like ai writing your content, so keep that in mind. But having that seo roadmap is going to help you go a long way. Now, don't, if you do go explore SEO, do not expect results in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. This is a journey. It doesn't even end after 10 months or a year. You are constantly working on SEO. It will never end. As long as you're in business, it will never end. So don't expect that, oh, I'm going to invest in this for the next 8 to 10 months. No, it's forever. If you plan on staying open for the next 10 years and plan on investing in SEO for the next 10 years. That's just the bottom line. I want to give you guys a reality check because that's just how it works. Marketing is not a something that is temporary. It's a journey, and it's just not going to ever end. So keep that in mind. Same with your newsletter. Now, you think of newsletters as information or a way to solicit your your audience, your prospects, your clients, but you want to make this valuable. And how do you deliver value to your audience or your prospects or your clients? Is you provide a newsletter with educational information, right? You're not always it's okay to send out a soliciting email at once a quarter. No problems there. But if you ask me how many emails I get soliciting me for business every day, it's in the dozens, and it's so annoying. So always deliver value to your prospects, your audience, whoever you send your newsletter to, give them a message of value. So if you're in the medical industry, say, hey, uh, XYZ hospital was breached because of whatever. They didn't have, they weren't following compliance or whatever. Give them a checklist of how they can, provide, how they can stay compliant. I don't know, something along the lines that gives them value. Always be educating, always giving value. That's what, and that's the only way you're really going to build credibility, how you're going to build trust. And the newsletter, and this is where what we've been doing also at Single Point of Contact is our newsletter is also shared on social media posts and sent on. So LinkedIn provides us with a platform to deliver a newsletter to all our members or whoever subscribes. So you have two opportunities to deliver a newsletter, but also social media posts. You can take portions of your newsletter. Let's just say there's a download on your newsletter, put it on your social media posts, right? Educate there also, because if your company is being followed by every doctor in your area, they're going to want to know what you have to share because they're following you for a reason. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. They're not asking the right audience members or right prospects to follow their organizations on social media. You want to use social media, or at least leverage social media, to build trust, build credibility. because we're in the trust business, and it's another way of adding credibility to your organization. Because when you deliver information that is not only valuable, but it's educating your prospects, it's only going to open up opportunities for your organization. Now, PPC. PPC can be expensive, and there's lots of options now. Now, I'll use myself as an example because we used to have PPC in place. And PPC is something you would put in place if you want to start generating leads in 3, 4 months. It's a lot faster, but you have to remember it's going to take a specific expertise, and it's going to take a bigger budget. It'll get you leads faster, it'll fill up your pipe a lot sooner, but it's going to cost you. All of this costs money. People who try to do shortcuts or um, uh, don't invest properly in marketing, they're not gonna do well. So PPC, another solution or another strategy that will generate opportunities for your organization. Now, I've the next strategy we've put in place is partnerships, right? You need to have strategic partners in place so they are recommending you to their either their clients or businesses that to opportunities where you both can be of add value to the prospect. But strategic partnerships takes time. Again, you got to build trust, and it's one of my least favorites because you got to get it out of the office. You got to take time from your day. You got to drive somewhere. You got to fight traffic. And strategic partnerships, it does take time to develop that type of relationship. So, strategic partnerships is going to be last on my list and my least favorite. Now, what's going to help also is doing some research on ads on specific podcasts, right? So if you know this is information, I don't know how I'm going to get this information, but I'm sure it's out there. And let's say let's take a really popular podcast. Now, Greg, do you listen to any popular podcasts?
No, I don't.
You don't. Would you? Would you listen to a
Um,
pod?
it
Let
would
me
be
ask you this. No, hold on. Let me go back. Let me just backtrack a little bit because you're heavily into compliance and training a lot of executives on keeping, they have to be compliant. So you're doing all that training. What if there was a show on where a lot of these guys, there's a show where he's like a Howard Stern, well, not that provocative or obnoxious, but let's say this individual is, or let's say Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. Let's say they're talking about security, right? What's coming down the pipe? What's new on the threat landscape? New tools that are coming out. How would you feel about a show like that?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Sure, I give it a chance.
You'd give it a chance.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's educational, right? It's going to provide you some insight. And that's where I'm thinking. It's like if I know CEOs are listening to this compliance show or security show, I would be open if that's my audience, right? If that was my if you were a let's say you were a doctor and you're like, "Hey, I got to listen to this podcast on how to keep my office HIPAA compliant," I would want to run an ad there that would send a direct message to that doctor saying, "Hey, are you the owner of a small medical office? Do you know that you could be violating HIPAA compliance laws? We're an IT service firm that can offer not only a 24/7 SOC, but we'll keep you HIPAA compliant." Right? A short message that delivers value, has a hook in there that captures their attention. But I would be very open to ads on podcasts because more and more people are listening to podcasts, even YouTube. More and more people are listening to YouTube, but I don't know if they have enough data to say, hey, I want to run this ad to this specific individual. I don't think they could break it down by, um, let's say, their industry, their if they're a C-level executive, VP level of executive. You see, that's the only thing that I don't know if they can do that. But I'm sure there's YouTube channels that are talking about security and or let's say a let's say a podcast or a YouTube channel on medical devices that are going to be coming out in 2025 or something along those lines. There's got to be something that is, that is talking to a specific industry. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Sure,
All right.
I agree. Yeah, there's got to be stuff you can look up. Absolutely.
Well, I just feel there's I'll use okay. Let me ask you this: do you have cable?
Yeah, I do, of course.
Oh, you do. Okay, I canceled my cable. I just have Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max, and Prime. That's it. I mean,
Okay.
I was paying almost 100 and 80 $200 for cable. And I'm like, I really don't watch TV. And when I do watch TV, I record everything and then fast forward through all the commercials. So commercials on TV aren't really a viable solution for businesses anymore. And that's why I feel like YouTube and podcast can give small business the opportunity to get in front of their ideal prospect. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I agree.
Like, I don't know, like Hulu for a while there, we had the least expensive package. Um, but we would get commercials every 15 minutes, and you're forced to watch them. And I'm just sitting there going, this is just a drag. I do not like commercials, but it gives businesses an opportunity to get their product in front of the consumer, and they do a pretty good job. They do a really good job. So I don't know. What other ways would you consider for marketing your IT service firm?
Oh man, it depends. It all depends on where you're at. I mean, if you're in a saturated marketplace, if you're gonna do even email is gonna be hard. I mean, it's very difficult to market yourself. But if you, I mean, I've read thousands of books, so there's a lot of different philosophies on which way to go, and one of them is just to pick 10 potential customers and follow them and email them and direct message them and like their posts on Facebook. I mean, I've seen so many different ways to go.
Well, what this is what I like about SEO, and you tell me your honest opinion is SEO, Google has leveled the playing field. And I'll tell you how that's possible because we we rank higher than our competitors who are billion-dollar companies, right? So if somebody enters a specific keyword, we rank a lot higher than our competitors. Now, that Google does not care that you are a billion-dollar company or a multi-million dollar company. They care that you produce content that answers a problem. And I guess Google feels we do a great job with our content creation. Our level of authority is much higher. And that's what I love about SEO. Doesn't matter how big you are, how many employees you have, how many billions of dollars you make, SEO will give you, it just makes it easy for the big guy or the little guy to compete with the big guy. Because if you think about PPC now is all about money, right? It's all about budget. Who's going to compete? who's going to bid the highest for that keyword. If your budget's a lot smaller than that $1 billion company, they're always going to be taking that top spot. So PPC really is not that great of a platform if you have a limited budget. And that's what I love about SEO. It's like, hey, kick ass with content creation, produce quality content, unique content that solves problems, and Google will make you the authority. They'll drive traffic to your site like crazy. It's bananas. It's bananas how much traffic we get, and it's all qualified. Well, I say all qualified. Not all of it's qualified, but a very large percentage of opportunities that come in are highly, highly qualified, hot leads. So, and then it comes down to, obviously closing the opportunity, right? I'd say 90% of the time, I'm producing a proposal. I'm competing for their business. And this is the thing that I hear from a lot of prospects that contact us. Wow, you're the first one to contact us. I was just at your site 10, 15 minutes ago. I go, I know. He's like, and this is what I hear. I emailed your competitor yesterday or 2 hours ago, and they haven't even responded. Right. So prospects notice that. They notice that you paid attention to them, you responded to their questions, and you were able to at least schedule a meeting. So they have a problem, they have a challenge, they're struggling with something, and you're there to answer their questions. And that's what I'm gonna urge every CEO who listens to this. If you have a message that comes in asking for a quote, get back to them within an hour. It plays a big part on them making a decision. So, yeah, you've read lots of books on marketing, and I'm gonna always lean on the online authority, right? It's proven over and over how valuable SEO is. It just changes things. It takes your company to a whole nother level. So I hear a lot of people complain about SEO, but I know exactly why they're complaining. They don't follow best business practices. They give up too quickly, and they really have bad guidance. This is really comes down to guidance. It's like what keywords should you focus on? Okay, now that you have IT support as your keyword, what content should you create on IT support, right? So anything SEO is never going to be a bad idea. I used to think, you know what, you got to have at least 500,000 people in your city. Now I'm thinking, I think 500,000 people should be the minimum. Anything below that, I'm gonna have to take SEO out. And then the only thing that I would do in a in a city with less than 500,000 people is make cold calls and have a kick-ass cold calling script, which we'll share on the MSP corner. And I really want to help other IT service firms that if they make it to the expert corner or they're on a live call and they need a cold calling script, I'm going to give it to them just to help them out because a lot of these guys are just starting out and they have an hour, 2 hours to kill, and they need some guidance. They need to know, what am I going to say? Who am I going to talk to? Where should I start? Should I focus on an industry? Should I focus on a specific size of organization? Should I stay within a specific area in my city? Right. I mean, there's a lot of questions we could answer, but a lot of these guys just need some guidance. I was looking at a call script today from a competitor to the MSP Corner, and I just looked at it. It was just so cringy. I just didn't like it. Did not like it one bit. And you and I are going to go over that information, but it was just awful. I did not like it one bit. But what are you going to do? You gotta start somewhere, and I think that anyone who takes a chance on making cold calls, hey, you're at least trying, right? You're at least trying, and there's nothing wrong with um at least putting yourself out there, because when you put yourself out there, you're really opening up to being rejected, and nobody likes to be rejected. But that would be my thing. I would be I would be excited about making cold calls on an to an area that has, like, 100,000, 200,000 people. And it's like, just own that market. Just own it. So I don't know. Is there anything out of all those books you've read, anything that stands out that you would want to share?
A lot of the books I've read have all really concentrated on, um, here's the deal, and this is why it's a little cringy to you, because they just pick things that work. They pick something small,
Yeah.
like selling water in the desert, right? They know it's going to work,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's all they do. They say, well, if you sell water in the desert, here's the 10 reasons why people are going to buy it,
Yeah.
and here's, you could charge whatever price you want, because what are they going to do? What else are they going to do? And
Yeah.
you're just sitting there going, well, nah, I don't think so. It's not quite that, like, doesn't quite work out the way they say, because a lot of the times they say, well, just make a price up, and I'm like, well, if you go into a store and you see two prices, usually you pick the cheaper one, if it's
Yeah.
a generic toothpaste or Colgate.
Yeah.
What are you really paying for? The savvy businessman knows he's not paying for anything.
Yeah.
It's all in the fluff of it. It's in the colors, and it all tastes the same.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of simple things. You know, if you keep going out every Friday night and trying to go after the most beautiful person at the bar, and they're not responding to you, something you need to they say you need to fix something. It's either you, or you need to change the target. if
Yeah.
if the most beautiful person in the bar is not reacting to you, it may be because you don't have the qualifications that they're looking for. It might not be that you're not attractive. It just might not be that you have a BMW or a Mercedes. And if you get those things, then you can go back there and try again. But you have to be realistic about, what you're going after. And in our industry, we're going after smalls. We're going after small and medium sized companies. You're crazy, or somebody, if you're going to try to go after humongous organizations. You know what I mean? You and I both know humongous organizations aren't going to put their trust in little companies.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with small business opportunities. Yeah, you can close them quickly. But let me go back to the marketing thing. Yeah, I don't like these little cringy discussions on, they state the obvious. It's like, please give me something of value. Now, I always I've never had the same. I just came. I shouldn't say I just came across this, but for the past few years, our messaging has been around. It's all been customer centric, right? Before, it was, look what I can do for you, right? Where we've changed the message to, or look how great we are. Look at our experience. Look at the support we offer. And it wasn't really customer centric, where we changed it now so it's more about the client than it is about us. Because people love talking about themselves, but prospective customers, want to hear It's all about you and what are you going to do for me, right? So that's one of the tricks of marketing. If somebody is coming to your website, you got to have a very, very attractive hook that engages them, keeps them there on your website. And again, I was looking at some of Robin Robbins' recommendations, and she does a pretty good job with that. I'm not going to knock her on that. She does a decent job, but it's very, how would I say, very generic. You want there's some firms that are, but she did get specific on with some that were industry specific, but you know, good and bad with all these firms. But I just feel that the IT service industry is, yeah, I don't like taking a generic approach. You might get more opportunities, but you're going to really spread yourself out. And I don't know if you want to do that. Do you want to have depth or do you want to have breadth? And I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. We decided to go with one industry and we've stuck to it. It's worked out, but still, it's something that needs to be discussed and agreed upon. But
Well, the generic, easy, that's good stuff.
it is. It is. It can work. It can work. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying if you want to have, okay, let's say let's do this. Let's do a little role playing here. If you're the CEO of a medical office and you're interviewing 3 IT service firms, and 2 of the IT service firms have maybe 1 or 2 medical offices that are similar to yours. Okay. And their pricing's about the same. And the third option, your third IT service firm has dozens of medical offices and dozens of and a lot of testimonials on his website. And he's maybe 10-20% more. Are you going to go with the firm that has the least experience in your industry, or somebody who knows your industry very well?
Don't go with someone who's cheapest,
You
right?
love
Because
y
why wouldn't you do that?
well, you want to I would assume you would wanna work with somebody who's an expert in your area, right? It's like you going in for an operation. Do you wanna be operated by a doctor who has 1 or 2 operations, or somebody who's done hundreds of them? Who are you gonna pick? The
Well,
one
I
that's
mean,
the one that's
go
done
and see that
the
there's this thing now called medical vacations where you go to Sri Lanka and you get people to do surgeries on you. I mean, we're talking surgeries on,
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you say to that? It's because the cheapest wins.
You know, if people wanna roll the dice with their health, that's them. Me personally, yeah, I'm gonna go with the expert, right? Life is too it's too valuable. So, but, we all have different requirements, I guess. But anyways, all right.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So anything else you want to share?
No, good show.
All right, good. All right, guys, thanks for listening. And don't forget to sign up. We went live with the MSP Corner. So go to mspcorner.com, share our link with the CEO who'll find our information beneficial to their business. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.